Hi everyone, and welcome to It's Me, Shri, where I show you how to grow your own food and get the most out of your garden space. Today we are talking about seed starting. So this whole video is focused on how to grow from seed and the supplies that you need for your upcoming garden. In a previous video, I walked through some of these supplies. We'll do it again. We are going to chat through everything you need to get started, how long the process takes, and then what your maintenance looks like as you're trying to get your seeds to germinate. So let's go ahead and get started. What do you need? So the first thing that you're going to need is some sort of seed cell contraption. This is what's going to hold your water, so it's easy to maintain the water for your seeds. These have seed cells in them. This is what you're going to fill with soil. And then some also come with a form of a humidity dome. If you're just starting, chances are you're going to see these a lot. I started my seed journey using these. You can see there's some soil in them. I've used these for about 3 or 4 years already. These are really easy to find. You can find them on Amazon. This is what holds your water. These are your seed cells. And then this is that humidity dome that I mentioned that goes right on top. And you can use this to basically trap the heat, encourage germination faster. And this is what I use if I'm on a short deadline. So highly recommend this guy. You can always use something like this, which I really love, Burfy Super Seed. You can find these on Amazon on their website. And then the last one I recommend are Silly Seedlings. Funny name, but really, really functional. These have a longer cell, and this is going to encourage root development going all the way down, which makes for a more successful transplant when you're ready to plant your seeds in the soil. Lots to pick from, clearly. I'm going to use this guy right here. So this is what you first need, right? Something to actually hold your seeds. Next, you're going to need a heat mat. You can find these heat mats on Amazon, and I'll put the price of everything above. But this is well worn, you can tell. This is my heat mat. So my seedling cell is going to go on top of my heat mat like that. This is what's going to encourage germination. Seeds like warm ground. So we're going to help them germinate by providing that heat for them. The last thing you need are grow lights. Not many seeds like to grow in the dark. If you know of any, please let me know. So this is what you end up clipping to your table or wherever you have kind of created as your little seed sanctuary between your heat mat, your cell, and then your grow lights. Bent over just like this, you're creating a perfect environment for your seeds to germinate. So these are probably the three things that you're gonna need. And then of course, your seeds. So I am growing some bean seeds and a few tomato varieties that I absolutely love. We need to get started by filling our seed cells with soil. So there's lots of options here. You can do a fancy combination of cocoa coir, the little white pearls, earthworm castings. You can buy a pre-made potting mix. This is one from Miracle Grow. It's organic. I haven't tried it yet, so we're gonna give this a shot this year. But normally, I also use the cocoa coir, earthworm casting, and perlite mix. You can also just use basic soil. So I have a giant bag of, oh my goodness, super soil right next to me. And this is what I normally use as well. You want to make sure that your soil is free of debris. So any little rocks, if you find pieces of plastic in here, you want to remove that. So anything that you find that could inhibit the root from growing, you don't want your roots to hit anything solid because it's going to stunt the growth of the seedling. It won't fail the seedling, but it will just take longer to provide a stronger root system. So we want to remove any debris. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I've heard some mixed things about this, but it looks pretty good to me. And I don't see any plastic or debris in it. You can see it looks pretty good. Nice and light, thin, something that roots would be easy to kind of penetrate as they develop. So we're just gonna fill this in. I got this nicely covered up. I do see a little bit of a wood chip here, so I'm gonna throw that one out. I saw another one, so throw those out. Little pieces of bark. Again, I want to remove anything that's going to inhibit the way that my seeds are going to grow. And this is extra soil on top. See this little mound? I don't want it. Don't press in your soil. If your soil is too dense, it's going to be harder for your seeds to grow. Okay, we got my earthworm casing here that I want to sprinkle on top. I shared this in another video. This is how much plants love earthworm castings. When I found and pulled up this root, like this whole thing grew into the bag. That's how much the plant loved it from the ground that it was just sitting on, which is wild. I am sprinkling some of my earthworm castings on top, just like that. And now is the fun part. We are gonna pick our seed varieties, so you get to pick with me. This is my little Tic Tac box of seeds. Today we are going to grow this tomato, Principe Borghese. I hope I'm saying that right. So I'm just gonna drop it right in the middle like that. Give it a little cover. Next, I want to plant some beans. So I got red beans here. This is the variety. Hope you can see. And same thing, we're just gonna pop these in. Nothing crazy. Okay. Just like that. What I haven't done is I'm going to be growing a bunch of flowers in the other seeds. Buying flowers from a nursery or anything kind of seems like a crime because growing them for so much cheaper is so easy. So, and there are other seeds, I'm just sprinkling the seeds in the soil, just like this. You can find seeds truly anywhere. Home Depot, Ace Hardware, you can buy them online. There's a lot of controversy about where seeds are actually made, where they're grown from, where they're harvested from. So take a look at that if you're interested and are a little bit more particular. One of my favorite seed brands is Row 7. They're very, very unique. These are their packets. I planted these. I'm excited to show you what those look like. They're already in the ground. So check them out for sure. And then any local farms that you may have are likely storing seeds too. So definitely check those places out too. So let's chat watering. Watering is really important for your seeds. You never want to water from the top. If you overwater, you can end up having moss growing on top of your seedling cells, which you really don't want either. Always water from the bottom. What does that look like? Watering from the bottom means using your tray underneath your seedling cell tray. So this is what you're going to fill with water, and it's going to soak up from all these little holes here into your soil or into your potting mix, okay? And that's what's actually going to make your soil or your seedling mix, your potting mix, wet enough for your seeds to germinate. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that with some water. My base is filled with water here. Just going to pop this guy in, and the water is going to start to absorb all the way from underneath into our seedling here. So next, we're going to head to my garage, which is where I have my seedling grow station, and I will show you how to set up your heat mat and also any grow lights that you might have. Okay, let's head over. Welcome to the little corner of my garage where I normally start my seeds. So I'm going to place my heat mat right on this shelf here, and then my seedling tray right on top. I have multiple outlets, so I'm going to plug this guy in, get that heat going. And then if you have the clip-on grow lights, which are these ones, you can clip this anywhere. So before I invested in a stand for seedlings like this, I literally just put my seeds on like a 6-foot table. I started my very first year on the floor in my dining room. You just need somewhere to clip your grow lights and plug in a heat mat. So you can really do this anywhere. Don't feel pressured to buy a system like this if you know that this is just the beginning and you're not sure if you properly want to invest in it yet. But in case you decide to go this path with a clip-on grow light, it looks just like this. You want to bring the grow lights really low to your seedlings. What does this do? So this prevents your seedlings from getting leggy. Leggy seedlings have a really thin, long stem, not a strong root development. They're focused on reaching the sunlight, in this case from the grow light. So they're trying really, really hard to grow really tall to get to this light. You don't want to make them work that hard. You want to make sure that they're putting all their energy into growing roots in their seedling cell. So bring your grow lights a little bit lower. If you notice they start to get leggy, bring them a little bit lower. And then as they grow taller, you can lift your grow light a little bit higher and higher and higher. So I have the clip-on lights up here, so I don't need to use my grow lights. So I just turned on my tube lights up here, which I know I just told you to bring your lights lower. So I'm going to bring my lights lower. I'm going to do that by changing the height just like this. And I'll do that for all four of these. I don't want to waste your time, but I'll do that for all four of these to help bring my light lower to my seedlings. And that's it. Give it about 5 to 7 days. Take a look at your seedling packet. Check what the germination time is. Check your water. Make sure that your seedling soil has just enough water at the base, that the soil is damp but not soaking. There's no need to overwater your seedlings. You don't want to encourage that little moss to grow on top because that means that they're getting too much water. So this is it. I would say this is the beginning of your seed starting journey. I hope you have a wonderful time. Check back often. Usually when I start growing seeds, I run back maybe like every 6 hours, hoping to see some magical progress. And then when you do start to see those little seeds sprout, it's really exciting. First, you're going to see the initial sprout of the leaves, and then you know that your seedlings are starting to mature when you start to see their true leaves, which is what I mentioned in a previous episode. So true leaves are the real leaves of your mature plant. Once those start to grow, you're on the good side of the seed starting journey, and you're going to have a successful seed starting journey for your upcoming season. So all the best of luck to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to put all the supplies that you may need up on the screen. And yeah, with that, thanks for joining me, and come back next time for another episode of It's Me, Shri.